Edward. Still running errands for your father, I see.
A shadow.
Don't speak to me of this, Corrington. I carry the burdens of your deeds every day.
Did you find Marco's grave? Please say hello to the original copies of The Travels of Marco Polo. But Victoria, what's so special about the original copy? Why can't we use any version?
My theory, after much research, is that Marco did not release the entirety of his book to be published. Even he said no one would believe what he'd seen. Common era manuscripts of the Travels of Marco Polo claim that Marco ruled as governor over the city of Yangzhou for 3 years.
But that doesn't make any sense. Why would the Chinese Empire let a foreigner be made governor?
Well, technically the Mongolian Empire, but same difference. Anyway, your question proves a point. The Mongols would have no reason to instate a Venetian man as ruler unless they had no choice.
Are you saying that Marco Polo used an artifact to force the largest empire in the world to, make him a mayor?
Governor. But yes, I'm assuming he used an artifact. However, I never implied the use of force. What I'm saying is he suggested it, and Kublai Khan agreed willingly.
What do you mean? He was able to control Kublai's mind?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
And now Edward wants it.
Who is this Edward?
Edward Greye. Historian, artifact collector. He has the gift, like us. They may be stronger than yours, but he can control it. So he doesn't need a protective necklace.
How did you know him?
It's a long story.
Why would he call me a victim?
All you need to know is Edward is a bloody scoundrel. His father is a billionaire, yet refuses to share anything with Edward. So he collects artifacts, then sells them to the highest bidder. No matter if that person is an arms dealer, an army general, or a downright pirate. He's also the greatest swordsman I know, trained by the best. Not even to mention his collection of deadly artifacts he's more than willing to use.
You mean second greatest swordsman? Right behind yourself?
No.
Oh. Well, if we don't want Edward getting Marco's artifact, we better get to work.
Then I need to get to translating.
You can't just keep stumbling around. You have to learn how to defend yourself. Which is why I've decided to train you.
I know how to fight. I've handled myself before.
The last time you fought somebody, you were shot.
But I won. It hurt like mad, but I won.
Via bloody dumb luck. Do you want to go through the experience of being shot a second time?
Not if I can help it. But your plan is missing one key piece. How will learning to fight with a sword help me defending myself from being shot?
It won't, but Edward won't just shoot you. He thinks himself too honorable for that. He'd rather duel you with a sword. He prefers the cold steel in his hands. We can't just stand around here all day. There are 5 basic parry positions. The first is like this. To protect. The second is this. Protecting the third or on guard is position 4. Is like last is position 5. Used to protect your head and shoulders.
Ask him. Ask him why.
Lilac.
Why did Edward call me a victim?
Can you hear me? Lilac? Lilac? Are you listening?
Yes.
Prove it. Parry with position 5.
That won't be necessary.
On God. Of course, October 31st is a full moon. Fortunately, the ball is the night before. If everything goes according to plan, it should be
Dreadful. Just dreadful. This writing, it's like nothing I've ever seen before. There's bits of old French, but all I was able to translate was the name of the book, and this copy isn't even named The Travels of Marco Polo.
Then what is it?
From what I can gather, Emilione's Travels, which would make sense. Marco's nickname was Emilione.
What would you need in order to translate this?
Probably another book from the era of this one.
What about another book by Marco Polo?
That would be perfect, but this is the only document Marco ever wrote. But he did have a co-author.
Who?
Rustichello di Pisa, an Italian romance author.
I'm fairly certain Father wouldn't have any of those in his collection.
No, I don't think he would.
Didn't you say Edward collected old things? Like us?
Yes. What are you driving at, Lilac?
What if he had a copy of Rusty's books?
That could be very possible. Not just the fact that he's a collector, but he's also quite the romantic.
How do you...
Wait, are you proposing we steal a book from Edward Greye?
If he hadn't tried to kill us yesterday, I would have petitioned that we asked to borrow it, but...
That's actually not a half bad idea. Although normally I wouldn't condone stealing from anyone other than dead people. I'll make an exception for Edward.
But what about getting into his home? He certainly wouldn't leave it unguarded.
I would have just made it up as I went along.
This time you won't have to. Edward is hosting an auction ball this weekend.
Auction ball?
In recent years, Edward has been hosting massive auction balls, inviting the richest and scummiest people in the world to buy and sell expensive artifacts.
Only invited guests can enter.
How would we get in?
We'll just have to borrow someone else's invitations. I'll go ask Father if he can work some of his magic.
Real magic or...
This time, figure of speech.